Right there. Please join me in lighting the chalice. The words are in your order of service. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning in celebration of the life we share together. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Low Country. And we have quite a few announcements this morning. But before I get to that, I would like to ask if we have any first or second time visitors that are here. And if you care to stand and give us your name, we can perhaps get to know you a little better after the service.
Hi.
Oh, hello. Good morning.
I'm Brooke. I've been here years ago, but I'm back.
Welcome down. Oh, yes, please.
I'm Fran. I was here 6 months ago, so I love that town. I'm from Pittsburgh, so I heard a lot of Pittsburghers here. Nice to be back.
Welcome, Fran. Anyone else? Okay, well, we have a gazillion announcements, and a lot of those are in your handout that's inside your order of service. And just a reminder that Music on Malthus is returning this Friday, the 29th, with Lily Lewis. And if you haven't checked her out on YouTube, I would suggest you do that. She is going to be a delight. Also, I wanted to just remind those that are UUCL social media for social justice is on Facebook and Instagram. If any of you come across any photos or messages that represent who we are here as a congregation, I would recommend you forward those to Kat Duncan or send directly to the uucl.office@gmail.com. Our next Path to Belonging is starting at the end of October. There will be 3 consecutive Sundays, the 15th, the 22nd, and the 29th. They'll begin after the talk back here in the sanctuary, and that will be with Reverend Charlie Tyler and Ann Harrison. Also, we are going to be starting a new writing group. If you're interested in writing or you do write and you'd like to join the group, see Beth Reinders. Raise your hand, Beth. Also, October is LGBTQIA+ History Month, and on the 14th, between 10:30 and 2:30, we will be showing the 1969 Stonewall Riot documentary, and that'll be followed by a presentation and discussion with Angela Wright. She has been here before with Gwen McClune. She is the co-chair of Low Country Pride, and she will bring us up to date on some of the new legislation, how things have changed or how they have not. And then on the 21st is the new annual Trunk or Treat. You can talk to Ann about that if you're interested. And then later that evening will be the welcome back dinner for the congregation here at the church, catered by the Olive Garden, and details on that will follow. And I think that might be it. And George Kanek has some announcements.
Good morning. I'm reminded about what I'm going to be talking about here for about 2 minutes, if you don't mind. A celebration of life that we share together, which is in our lighting of the chalice. One of the foundations of who we are as a UU is social justice. And the social justice group that is called SCUJA, SCUUJA, South Carolina Unitarian Universalist Justice Alliance, is having a fall festival in Columbia at the Unitarian Church in Columbia, October 7th from 10 to 4 p.m. Now, it is a schlep to get there, but it's 2 hours or something like that. We do not now have a representative that's able to make it. Kathy Zeiser and I have some conflicts, but we'd love to have somebody representing our organization at this event. It's a very full day of between, as I said, 10 and 4. It involves such things as gun violence, women's rights, LGBT rights, anti-racism, women's productive rights, and voting rights. So all of those are just the foundation of who we are as UUs. So if anyone would be interested in going up and representing our UUCL at this important event, please see Kathy or I after the service. It's very, very important that we continue these kinds of efforts and be represented. We have 10 congregations of UUs in this state, and I want to be sure that we're represented. So think about it. I'll give you any more details if you need it. Thank you very much.
Oh, Charlie Tyler with opening words.
I was just dozing off back there. All of a sudden I realized I have responsibilities. Hi, good morning. My name is Charlie Tyler. I'm the minister here at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Low Country. Usually I take a moment to have some opening words, but this morning I want to direct my attention to a loss that this community, this UU community, has gone through in the last week. Most of you should know, and some of you do not know, that our beloved Irene Reed passed away unexpectedly earlier this week. I have been in contact with her longtime partner, JJ, concerning what the thoughts might be, and thoughts and plans are just really beginning to focus on how we might celebrate her life. But for those of you that knew her and remember her, you knew that you were in the presence of someone who was completely comfortable in her own skin. She knew who she was, and you got what she was. It was WYSIWYG. What you saw was what you got. And those are some of the things that won my heart over to her in the way that she was and who she was in this community. And she loved this place, and she loved you people. This was her hope, and this is her grounding in her own liberal views of the world. And we will miss her distinctively, for she was that authentic person that would be unafraid to stand in front of a group of people and plead for lima beans and for food to go to the children and for collection and for just being who we are. It hurts me that we have to have this conversation together as plans unfold that are in her and this family's and this community's best interest. We will keep you in touch with that. I do also want you to know that JJ has given me permission to share his phone number and his email address with our administrator, David and Sarah. He will have the phone number and he will have an email address. If you wish to reach out to him, he'll make sure that you get it so that you can write and communicate to JJ. And he was very appreciative of the phone call that I was able to make to him yesterday. So I hope that you're able to gather your hearts together. And I'm not exactly sure how we as a congregation will acknowledge Irene's passing, but as we consider this, we'll be trying to bring all of that to your attention in future days. So that is my calling. That is my opening words as we grieve together as a community. Now, if you would please take your hymnals into your hands. Turn with me, if you will, to hymn number 38, and may we stand, if you're able and willing, and sing together this morning's program.
You know, sometimes as I drive down Malthus Road, heading towards this building, I get this feeling I used to get when I was young. When I was in the back seat of the car with my family, driving down Crane Neck Road in West Newbury, Massachusetts, to the house where my grandparents lived. And there are times when I drive into the parking lot that I get the same sense of anticipation that I felt when we would pull into my grandparents' driveway. My grandparents always made us feel wanted, always welcome, which is much the way I feel when I come here. I don't know if they were just waiting by the windows, but somehow my grandmother and grandfather would always be standing on the porch when we got there, arms outstretched, ready to receive us even before we could get out of the car. They were there, the same way that our greeters are here every Sunday, waiting for us to arrive. They know we're coming, and they are ready to welcome us in. Welcome is our theme this month, and this morning, Reverend Charlie Tyler is going to suggest that perhaps we can find in our spirits what he calls the invitation of the Lady of the Harbor. Of course, when he speaks of the Lady of the Harbor, he'll be referring to the Statue of Liberty. And in the same way that she welcomes people into the harbor of New York City, Charlie wonders if we might see our congregation as a safe harbor in the Low Country where all people can feel welcome. I love this idea, and I think that we're already on it. For instance, one way to provide welcome is to greet with open arms. And I think that we are really good about that here at UUCL. In fact, maybe too good. If you are new here, you may notice that we are a very huggy people. Not being able to open our arms and embrace one another, I think, was one of the ways that we were hardest hit by the pandemic. Anyway, right now, what I'd like all of us to do is to take a moment and think about someone from your life who always greets you or greeted you with a hug. Someone who genuinely lights up when you show up. It could be somebody who's in your life now, or it could be somebody from your past. For me, in this moment, I'm thinking about my grandparents. Think about that person or those people who have welcomed you and how it makes you feel, how it made you feel to be wanted. There's really not much that is better than the feeling of being wanted and welcomed. Most people associate the Statue of Liberty with welcome and protection. And I know that there are some people who see her as guarding our gates, but her function is not to guard. It is to greet. It is to welcome people and give them hope that things can improve and that there is a promise for a better life. The role of the Statue of Liberty is to accept the stranger with open arms. Hallelujah. Not long after Trump was elected, you may recall the time that he gave the executive order which blocked refugees from entering our country from 7 countries that were all predominantly Muslim. The former Secretary of State, Madeleine Albright, was on CNN after this happened, and she criticized Trump, and she called the order anti-American. She said the whole message of the Statue of Liberty is a message of open arms and of welcoming people. And I will always remember that she also said that on that day, the day that he signed that order, she thought she could see tears in the eyes of the statue. Banning Muslims was not making things safer. She said the security of our nation should not depend on keeping people out, but rather on welcoming people in and helping them understand what our country is all about. Another way to provide welcome is to provide light. And in a gesture of worldwide welcome, the Statue of Liberty does this by lifting her lamp, lighting the way to freedom so people can see a path toward justice. When we would go to visit my grandparents, there was always light. We would often arrive at dusk, since they lived about a day's drive away, and the old farmhouse that they lived in could have been cold and dark, but it never was. The light on the porch where they would be standing was always on. The rooms were warm and well lit, candlelight in the windows at Christmas time, sometimes a fire in the fireplace, always night lights. And here at UUCL, the flame in our chalice burns. It's a symbol of light and safety and hope and Unitarian Universalism all around the world. So, Like I said, I think that our congregation is on it. We are greeting people with open arms. We are shining our light. And when people return from being away, we are welcoming them home. So I say, yes, let's accept the invitation of the Lady of the Harbor. Let's keep the spirit alive of my grandparents and of all the people in your lives who have made us feel wanted. And we can do this by continuing to make our congregation a safe harbor in the Low Country where all people can feel welcome. And I see some children, so we will depart.
This is a friendly reminder to let you all know that this is the time where we talk about the sharing our abundance with the local food pantries, one on Hilton Head, Sandalwood Food Pantry, and the Self-Help Center in Bluffton. If you've brought any non-perishable items today, you can leave on the table there at the back of the sanctuary, or perhaps next Sunday you can remember to bring something for them. Also, we will pass the baskets and share our abundance with this congregation, and in order to keep our good works going on within and without, and I can't talk, within and outside of these walls. So. Your generosity.
This is the time we share our joys and concerns like a family does, in good times and in hard times. Irene Reed was scheduled to be a worship associate this morning, and since she's not, we're going to miss all that laughter and all that joy that she brought us. That was her gift, and it will not be forgotten. If you have a joy or concern that you wish to share, come forward, take a stone from the basket, tell us who you are and what you wish to share, and then put your stone in the can. All right. Then
I have a sadness and a joy. Sadness being that Irene is no longer with us, and the joy is that Irene is still with us in spirit. we will remember her for a very long time.
Will you join me in reading the affirmation? Oh, come, we have another. Sorry to cut you off.
Hi, my name is Marge. I have, as Skip had, a joy and a sadness. And it involves Irene. Last Sunday, we were supposed to pick her up for the service. And when we got to her house, she was sitting on the front porch. So Tim went up to get her, and she informed him that, I'm sorry,
I know.
that she wasn't feeling well enough to come. So she wanted to say hello to me, so she walked down the driveway. I rolled down my window, and she said, "I'm so sorry that I can't come." And I said, "That's okay." And she gave me a wet, sloppy kiss. So I may be the last person of this congregation that was privileged to get one of her wet, sloppy kisses. And I shall remember it forever.
Now would you join me in reading the affirmation? It is not the one in the program. The affirmation is in your hymnal 457. I'll give you a minute. I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do something that I can.
May we continue to do something in our lives. One announcement that I have missed and neglected, I want to come back to this. Mr. Robert and Edith Ann Thompson visit with us from time to time. They are from Connecticut, and they have sent a very generous gift to us. They often check in online, and we want to be thankful for their generosity in these days. So our theme this month, as Ann Harrison has so rightly observed, is becoming a welcoming church, to acknowledge that part of our lives and to be very deliberate and act on that. Now, one of the things that I want to say is I think we are that. It's just that no job is done until the paperwork is done. And so we're working with the Unitarian Universalist Association so that we can demonstrate that, in fact, we are that. And we've been working hard on getting accredited by the UUA. And we are indeed becoming and demonstrating our open-heartedness. This morning, I hope to accomplish something up here, something that is seemingly audacious. By the end of this message, it won't seem quite so over the top, but walk with me. I want to bring your attention now, if I can, to Emma Lazarus's The New Colossus. Some of you will recognize the end of it. Many of you will not be aware of the first part of it. But I find that there is great truth in here and parallels between the audacity of the new Colossus and the audacity of becoming a new Colossus. She writes this is at the base of the Statue of Liberty. By the way, several of these guys have made their way, women have made their way to me today, and so I thank you for that. Emma Lazarus writes this. She says, "Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here at our sea-washed sunset gates shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name is Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor with two that twin cities frame. Keep, ancient lands, your storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, the tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. You see, I have come to see that this beautiful, kind, gentle congregation that I stand in front of week after week is no less a mother of exiles in this community than the Lady of the Harbor. Many of you have discovered that in your own journey here. The parallels I see are these, and I hope that you're able to see them too. While not necessarily connected, you and I, to nationalism or a particular political party, we nonetheless light our own torch for others to see. It's on my left, your right, and we use it as a symbol, and then we take that light out into our world. We create the opportunity for the spiritual exile, for those who are exhausted from the hypocritical religious talk and those whose inner souls feel bereft of emotions and safety. You offer, we offer those tired, those poor, the opportunity to breathe free here in a new home. One of the words I hear repeatedly from many of you who have become a new part of this congregation is that you have felt home. You have found a home. You have found a place where you can become more than what you already are. And the message that I received from you who recently have come into this congregation is that spiritual and relational home that's so very vital and important in your life. As well, I have stood in front of this congregation week after week, and I have looked on the faces of new people with it that has this incredulity. Can it possibly be this good? Can they possibly be this kind, this welcoming, this non-judgmental? Can this possibly be that place? And if I can encourage them to hang around just a little bit, maybe through the talk back, come back next week, they've begun to, and many of you have begun to see, yeah, they are that. They are all that, and they are all that and more. Week after week, I see that look on their faces. And that look usually seems to translate, can this be real? Can this be true? So, you spiritual vagabonds, you have somehow managed to find your way here and unexpectedly have found your way home. Those are the reasons why I see such a parallel between the new Colossus, the Lady of the Harbor, and this lady that's in front of me who holds another door spiritually in hope of finding a new home, a new place, a freedom and a liberty and a healing. Not only does this home and this chalice open for the spiritual exiles, but I also would like to suggest that it's a touchstone and an inner GPS for many of us who are pilgriming to Maine and to Minnesota and to Massachusetts and to Canada, among many other places, because they too will find their way home when the time is right and the temperature is right, and they begin to make their way back to this place. Here, there is hope, home, and safety. And our longtime members who step away for a period of time follow their own magnetic lines back to this home. And they come back here because this is home. There is a line in the New Colossus that reads like this: keep ancient lands your storied pomp. I see in that a power, and I also see in that a parallel for where we are and who we are. I love that line because I hear the Lady of the Harbor suggesting, intimating, that the ancient past offers, and what the ancient past offers falls far short of what they really are suggesting. And here's why. While Emma Lazarus is redefining, and specifically to a nationalism, the seeds that is planted itself is superior. And I also see a distinctive, defining difference to the spiritual nation that the Lady of the Harbor is speaking to. And here's the defining difference as I see it, and perhaps you will too. Almost all spiritual homes, fill in the blank, denomination, theological constructs, different faith bases, they're all welcoming groups with the requirement that you become them, and then you'll be welcomed. That's not harsh, that's real. And one of the things that's different about this place, radically different about this place, about our spiritual home, is actually diametrically opposite of that. What our message is, that you will never be asked or expected to change anything about yourself, your world, or your world and life view, to become a part of this. Actually, what we expect is that your presence here makes us more whole. We are not here to change you into becoming anything, but you have come here to make us more complete. That's a different message. And that's what I wish to have you all see and hear and understand, and also to become a voice for in your community, because that makes a difference in our lives, I think. Never, never are you asked to change. And not only are you asked to bring who you already are into this place, and here's the major difference, because each new life, each new spirit, each new soul helps us become who we really are meant to be, not the other way around. That's a dynamic that is unusual and quite different in our world. So, keep Ancient Lands, your storied pomp. Don't want to hear about those old religions. Don't want to hear about those old thoughts. What we want to be able to know is that you will be welcome here. And those who love you, who have not yet walked through the Golden Gate, is that you would find that they would find that too. Many of you have expressed the emotional experience of freedom when you come here. That resonates with me. Some number of years ago, when I first found myself speaking to this congregation and becoming more involved in this congregation, I discovered liberation and healing. Completely unexpected. Liberation of my mind, my soul, my reason, my experience, and healing of the brokenness and the broken parts that I have left undone for so long. Those have given me a liberty and a freedom that I did not expect here. Now, do I sound audacious? Now, do I sound over the top? Probably not now. Probably you see the accuracy of who you are and what we're about and what might happen as we continue to move forward. Many of you have expressed that freedom. Many of you have expressed and learned the place to find liberation, the gift to breathe free here, if I can use the language of Lazarus. My own personal experience is that of liberation and healing. Joe Jinks, writer and a singer that was in our presence some months ago, he and I have begun to strike up something of a friendship. And I was wanting to refer to his piece and perhaps even have that piece played in the service. And so I wrote to him and said, Joe, I'm going to be speaking about this subject. May I have permission to play that piece here in the sanctuary? He immediately wrote back, hell yes. I love Joe Jinks. So there's a line in his song that repeatedly says, let my children in. He has the Lady of the Harbor, the mother of exiles, the parent of exiles, saying, let my children in. And I wish that to be our call too, into this community, that we let those children in. My children, the wretched, the homeless, the storm-tossed, send them. They'll find home here. My audacious message is this, that we too can be, already are, a new Colossus. We too are a welcoming home to the spiritual exiles of this community, and sometimes, as we've seen, even extending out beyond our walls. We too light our torch and welcome back our pilgrims and offer safe harbor to the tempest-tossed. We too lift that lamp beside a golden door. And my hope for myself is that I embrace that sacred hope that I have experienced here, and somehow, in a way consistent with my own personality, hold that lamp in a way that exiles may find their way here. I don't know all of what that means to each of us in this place, but I do know that that's a powerful message. And I hope the same for us. Audacious again, over the top? No. I think this message is spot on to who we are. My experience says that's who we are. And I'm coming to believe and accept that you and I together are a mother of exiles, parent of exiles. We are, it seems, a bright torch holding space for the hungry for that inner freedom that they do not have. Our message here is come home. Come home. Come home. And so I'm going to ask David now, if he would please, that we close this message and have Joe Jinks sing to us one more time. Thank you.
Distant lands, the tempest tossed with hopeful hearts and calloused hands, reach toward the light, the torch held high, and cast their gaze upon the lady of the harbor, and she welcomes them with open arms. She says, let my children in. Shine on, shine on, oh you lady of the harbor. And so it was with my own care. They sailed from Sweden and from France and Ireland, their earthly cares packed in their bags. They cast their gaze upon the lady of the harbor, and she welcomes them with open arms. She says, let my children in. Shine on, shine on, oh you lady of the harbor. Now we're knocking down the borders and we're filling up the jails, and we say they don't belong. How conveniently do we forget that we've all come to sing the same sweet song? Will the dream survive the strain? Will huddled masses have a chance to learn each sweet refrain? Or will we fall into our fears and turn our backs against the lady of the harbor? And she welcomes them with open arms. She says, let my children in. Shine on, shine on, oh you lady of the Shine on, oh you lady of the harbor. Shine on, shine on, oh you lady of the harbor. Oh you lady of the harbor.
And to the lady that's in front of me now, shine on, you lady of the harbor. Thank you. Take your hymnals into your hands, if you would, please. Hymn number 346. Come and sing a song with me. Maybe stand and sing if you're able.
In closing, I'd like to thank Brooke and Fran for joining us today, and hopefully we will see you again. And also I'd like to say, in closing, in the words of Reverend Jean Ricard, we have a calling in this world. We are called to honor diversity, to respect differences with dignity, and to challenge those who would forbid it. We are people of a wide path. Let us be wide in affection and go our way in peace. And one more thing I was made aware of when Lily Lewis is here on Friday, it's Lily Lewis and the Trio. There will be some other folks with her. I don't know if it's drums or guitar or what, but bass, okay. And the drums, okay. So I hope to see you all there on Friday.
Yes.
And now our final words with Charlie Tyler.
Those of you that are here, you know how good it is. That's why you're here. You've come to believe it now. Now, I would hope that we can take it out into that community that needs it too, offering it the hope to the exiles that need to find a home here. Thank you for being you.
Please join me in extinguishing the chalice. The words are in your order of service. While we extinguish this flame, we still carry in our hearts the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment until we are together again.